Tonight on Beyond Belief on OWN. Do miracles exist?
It's something I can't really explain.
She fell 60 feet off a cliff in the desert.
I tried to get up and I couldn't walk.
Her pelvis shattered and nobody knew where she was.
I was in the middle of nowhere.
She lay helpless for 3 days, bleeding internally.
When they left to go in to find her, they took a body bag with them. That's when I knew it was very serious.
But a mysterious, unbroken chain of events saved her.
To me, it's a miracle. I like to think of it as a miracle.
And he was a star high school athlete until an accident cracked his skull.
My butt caught the very end of the mat and it flipped me onto my head.
He almost died, but did their prayers to a holy man save his life?
Your intercession.
This was definitely miraculous.
Are these events really miracles?
I couldn't have done that alone.
Because beyond faith,
I can't explain it.
beyond hope,
I was preparing to die.
beyond what the eye can see, is there something else? Beyond belief. Hi, I'm Wes Moore, and welcome to Beyond Belief on OWN. I recently met a woman named Danelle Belangi. She's an extreme adventure racer, and let me tell you, her story is truly miraculous. One December afternoon, she goes out for her daily run, and she veers off from the usual trail. Well, that split-second adjustment is almost her last, and it changed her life forever. Sometimes Danelle Belangi can feel the metal plate in her back, a reminder of how things could have ended so differently.
I think about it every day. Something will remind me of that time in my life, and I still can't believe I'm here.
Still mystified how people she barely knew helped save her life that December in 2006.
To me, it's a miracle. I like to think of it as a miracle. Ready to go? Let's go, bud. Let's go, Taz.
A miracle that begins on an ordinary day as Danelle and her constant companion Taz
Good boy.
take off for a routine run in the breathtaking canyons of the Moab Desert.
You ready to go, bud?
A challenging route for most of us, but not Danelle. She is one of the top extreme adventure racers in the world. Competing earlier that year for the 4th time in Primal Quest. Considered the Super Bowl of endurance challenges. Navigating her way through 450 miles of treacherous terrain in the Utah desert in only 8 days, in temperatures that sometimes soared to 110 degrees. She loves to push the limit of what her body can endure.
It's just what I like to do. I like to get out there and just go, 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 and just to push my body and to exercise. That's what feels good to me.
But that day in December is just about enjoying a run with Taz. A day that would suddenly go horribly wrong.
I was sort of in this meditative state, and then all of a sudden it was like a moment of, oh my God, what has just happened?
1 minute she's feeling the rhythm of the run. The next, violently falling down a 60-foot ledge of rock.
Kind of hard to describe, but it's almost a moment of your whole life just kind of going through your head. Every single muscle in my body was tense, and I was on guard, and I was like, I gotta land this thing. I wasn't ready to die, and boom. I hit, then I fell down to the ground, and I hit hard. I knew I hit hard, and I really couldn't believe it had just happened.
Unbelievably, Danelle lands on her feet in a small patch of dirt, just inches from a large boulder. So this is where you landed?
Yeah, right here is where I landed. You see that ledge right up there, probably about 60 feet up?
Yeah.
That's the route up there where I was trying to walk across.
When you landed, what did you feel?
I think I was in shock. I wasn't sure for a moment if I was paralyzed. So I touched both my legs with my hands to see if I had feeling there. And I did, and so I thought I need to get out of the canyon and get back to my truck. So I tried to get up, and I couldn't walk.
Danelle has no idea her pelvis is shattered. One leg literally dangling from her torso, connected only by soft tissue. Which makes what she's about to do next even more remarkable. She decides to crawl the 3 miles back to her truck. So you were going to drag yourself 3 miles from this spot back to your vehicle?
That was the only option. It was the only option I had, was to get out of the canyon. I couldn't support myself, with my legs, so I was basically down, laying like this, and just using my upper body to pull myself along, using my hands and my elbows, and dragging myself down to the bottom of the canyon. I still can't believe I made it, but I guess it was just adrenaline, endorphins that I was running on.
Was the pain completely unbearable?
I didn't feel pain at the time. It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt at that point.
And at that point, you're convinced that you're going to make it?
That was my plan.
Danelle drags her body along the canyon floor for 5 hours. She's gone only a quarter of a mile. Taz has been by her side all day, quickly finding her after the fall. As daylight fades, Danelle stops to prepare for the night ahead. With only a single gel pack for food and little left to drink, she struggles to reach a small puddle of water.
At that point, that first night, I had a full plan, and I was gonna, at first light, just drag myself out of there.
She also hopes someone will find her.
I did call out for help. If I heard any sound at all, I was screaming for help. Even though, the reality of it is I was in the middle of nowhere.
On her run earlier that day, she'd made a fateful decision, heading into a remote, rarely used part of the canyon. It was here that Danelle veered off the main trail, which heads up this way. But instead, she went that way. A path not on any map, making it that much more difficult for anybody to find her. Dressed in only jogging tights and several layers on top, she has little to protect her from temperatures that will soon dip into the 20s. But if years of endurance training have taught Danelle anything, it's how to survive.
I knew I needed to stay awake, because if I was to fall asleep, I would have died of hypothermia for sure. It was much too cold.
Incredibly, despite her severe injury, she does neck crunches every 5 seconds.
Small little sit-ups with my head just to keep warm enough, and I would tap my feet and move my arms, rub my arms together.
Hoping someone will notice she's missing. The chances are slim. She lives alone and hadn't told anyone where she was going. At home, her lights are on and her truck is gone. Though they didn't know each other well, she hopes maybe her next-door neighbor will suspect something is wrong.
It was a wish. I'd sent out this wish. I was making this wish that she would notice.
As Danelle lay there with Taz, somewhere in the middle of 1,000 square miles of wilderness. When Beyond Belief Unknown continues...
Everybody says, if it hadn't been for me, they'd have found the body.